we're talking about people who have influenced us, and right now I'm not under the influence of anyone. During my teens and 20s, the person who influenced me most was Ernest Hemingway, so I'm wearing my Hemingway shirt. I started reading Hemingway when I was 10, short stories, but it wasn't until I was about 15 and I read The Sun Also Rises that I became obsessive about it. He has a marvelous way of describing places throughout Europe to you. And I started to formulate this idea of wanting to travel in Hemingway's footsteps throughout Europe. I started to develop ideas about this dream trip, and this trip grew and grew and grew to epic proportions in my mind. But I was also planning, and I put aside money to try and make this reality. The September after I graduated, and flew to London with an open return, and more or less went by myself and said, I will be back when my money runs out. And I traveled all through Europe, had experiences that I think Hemingway would have been proud of. I stayed for 9 months and traveled by myself, and it was a really defining experience for me because it enabled me, by being away, kind of cut off from both my culture, most of the time from my language, native language, and my family and friends, and traveling by myself, I was free to reinvent myself. But what I discovered was really most truly who I was when I wasn't being defined by those who knew me best. That was an amazing experience. When I came back, I started job hunting. We were in the midst of an extremely bad recession at the time, probably the last time that the country was in about the shape it is in now. And job hunting was not easy for somebody who had gone to school for anthropology. So I packed up and followed in Hemingway's footsteps one last time and went to Sun Valley, Idaho. Lived and worked there, and that was another really, really amazing experience that I would not have had if I hadn't have wanted to kind of continue in following in Papa's footsteps.
Today I decided about 5 minutes ago to talk about Elvis Costello. Not in a way of, oh my gosh, his guitar playing totally speaks to me, or even in a way of like lyrically how brilliant he is, because that's all really obvious. It's more, when I think about it, the way he's approached his career. Elvis Costello has always been one of the people that when someone asks me, who do you look to in the way they've approached music as a business person, Elvis is always the person that I think of first. Because Elvis Costello has never done anything that he himself didn't want to do. He has, he started as a punk rock new wave musician, and he since then has been everything from alt country to literally classical ballets that he's written, jazz, and then back to, kind of punky new wavy stuff again. And if I could be one musician, that is the kind of musician I would want to be. I want to be able to write whatever I am feeling at that time, and not just lyrically, but musically, and not be concerned with, are people going to listen to it? So for me, as a musician, Wizard Rock makes me really happy. And that's why when people ask me why I do it, that's why. But I also like being able to, when I worked for a church, write music for them and put that out there. Or, write non-wizard stuff. So I thank Elvis Costello a lot for putting it in my mind that you don't have to do what your record company tells you, as long as you are happy. So that's what I want. I just want to be happy with what I produce.